Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Harris Faulkner dropped some truth bombs on Outnumbered today, folks, and we're going to get right to it. But before we start, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. So Harris Faulkner played a video during her episode of the Faulkner Focus, and I want you to stay with me here because all of this that's going to be said and seen in this video here today is important. She played a video of Chick-fil-A CEO Dan Cathy talking about racism and how to overcome racism. And this is an unearthed video from June of 2020. And what he does is he takes a shoe shine brush. He walks over to the other side of the stage and starts shining the shoes of a black man. And his point was that we should all do acts like this to overcome racism. It was something that Harris Faulkner called crazy, amazingly crazy, she called it. And he said other stuff that was just really ridiculous. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the video of Cathy. Then I'm going to show you Harris Faulkner's reaction. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to say some things that may offend some people, but I want you to stick around for it. So please stay tuned right after these clips.
Some of our closing moments here, but a story that was shared with me by a dear friend who shared with me about a revival that was taking place at a church in Texas. And at that revival on the front seat was an older African-American man that was sitting there. And this young man got up that was there in that service, and he'd been so gripped with conviction about the racism that was in that local community in a small town in Texas that he took a shoe brush and he walked over to this elderly gentleman and he knelt on his knees and began to shine his shoes. And tears began to flow in that service. It was an attitude of conviction. So I invite folks to put some words to action here. And if we need to find somebody that needs to have their shoe shine, we need to just go right on over and shine their shoes. And whether they got tennis shoes on or not, maybe they got sandals on, it really doesn't matter. But there's a time in which we need to have, some personal action here. Maybe we need to give them a hug too, brother.
And some stock in Chick-fil-A.
But I bought about 1,500 of these, and I gave to all our Chick-fil-A operators and staff a number of years ago. And so any expressions of a contrite heart, of a sense of humility, a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment, beget with an apologetic heart. I think that.
So, Chick-fil-A, look, we played it last hour. We dug up that CEO and some pretty amazingly crazy stuff he said. But, and it was offensive to a lot of people over the weekend. And that's why the story blew up. People felt like, well, you brought in race, you brought in all these things. You can get offended by a lot. But can Chick-fil-A walk the plank, continue to have the value system it has, the delicious waffle fries, which are my spirit animal, and at the same time do DE&I in which it really keeps everybody happy in the corporate end? And if their states start mandating it, some of these companies are going to have to start doing things that they said they'd never do.
Right.
Look, Harris Faulkner's right. And I tend to maybe give Chick-fil-A a little more of a pass because they have proven that they are a Christian and pretty conservative company. That being said, not all of these companies are doing this just because the law forces them to. And by the way, I think those laws may be unconstitutional. Perhaps some business should challenge them, make its way to the Supreme Court, and get rid of this nonsense. That being said, if you still shop at Target, if you still buy Bud Light, if you still participate and purchase companies and purchase subscriptions to companies and purchase products where the companies behind them don't support your values, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. If you, really mad at Target, but they have a great sale this weekend, you're part of the problem. Nobody's going to change. No company is going to change if you don't force their hand. Now, people may not want me to say that. They may not like hearing me say that they're part of the problem. But you are. I'm not chastising you. I'm not telling you you're a bad person. I know what you're thinking. What good can one person do, right? But if everybody thought like that, then you'd be correct. Nobody could do any good. If the founding fathers thought of that, we wouldn't be America today. There is a lot of good people can do one by one when they become a strong, cohesive group. If Target wants only a small percentage of the population to shop at their stores, then give them that. If Bud Light wants only a small percentage of the population to buy their beer, give them that. And it's not enough to keep the boycott going for a month and you see the stock prices dropping. Oh, they learned their lesson. And then you go back to them. They didn't learn anything. If it's not sustained, they didn't learn anything. They'll know that they can weather the storm in the future. You either stand for something or you fall for anything. And it's high time in this country that we start actually standing for something. It's high time Christians and conservatives start standing for something. Because if we don't, we will be defeated. It's that simple. The left never gives up. The left never says, well, what can just one person do? There are people boycotting Chick-fil-A for years still. For years. Based on their leftist ideology and their convictions. And while I disagree with them politically, and I disagree with their reasons for boycotting Chick-fil-A, I respect them. I respect them because they say they're going to do something, and they do it. They stand by it. That's why when the left says they're going to boycott, companies cave. And when the right says they're going to boycott, companies laugh. Because we never do it. So start doing it. Start with Target. Start with Budweiser. Start with something. Stand for something. Folks, I'm Carmine Sabia. This is Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody.